Radical.
Did Kendrick Lamar's Super Bowl performance suck? That's what we're going to delve into in this commentary on yesterday's Super Bowl halftime show. If I get time later, I'll actually have a commentary on the actual game itself, but who knows? My time is very scarce, as usual nowadays. But I'm going to spend a little time talking about this and trying to answer that question. Did this performance suck? Now, what you see in the thumbnail for this is it was a question posed on social media, A to F, on how good the performance from Kendrick Lamar was. And you see the first three I saw were Fs. Clinton Thompson, not one word understood. A lot of people were talking about having issues actually hearing him perform over the actual background sounds, the music. I heard it on YouTube. Maybe at the time they did some work on there. I didn't watch it live, but this is not the only person. Clinton's not the only person that actually stated that they couldn't hear him properly. And then Flash Cole Boss says, F- worst halftime ever. D.D. Waters, is there F times infinity? Yeah, wow. So that's pretty harsh there. I saw also this funny meme, or whatever you call it, somebody posted, of, you remember Lil Nate? If you watch wrestling through the years, there's a performer called Lil Nature Boy. I forget his name. I forget that referee's name, but he's a little white guy, and it has him running around. It takes him from he's running around the ring, and it says middle-aged white people running to social media to tell them how much they hated the Super Bowl halftime show. That's pretty funny. So when it comes to the halftime show, I watched it, and I will give you my thoughts. And granted, it's just my thoughts. Do I think it sucked? I don't personally think it sucked. I'm a little more open-minded when it comes to music. I like a lot of different types of music. I've seen some people saying that rap of that style has no place at the Super Bowl. And there's been rap performances in the past, but it's more marquee entertainers like 50 Cent or Snoop Dogg, more mainstream entertainers. When it comes to Kendrick Lamar right now, he's a mainstream rapper, but he's not like a Drake, who has more digestible songs in the mainstream. And I'm not going to get into that beef that they have because I don't know all the history behind it. I don't. But a lot of people are focusing on that point to where, I'm not going to focus on it just for briefly. I'm going to talk about how the beef kind of escalated, or it was almost finished because people are saying he completely destroyed him. Not only did Kendrick Lamar win, I think, 5 Grammys. He won 5 Grammys right before this, but he is the key only performer at the Super Bowl halftime show, other than SZA. I forget what her name is. But he made history by being the only rapper performer ever at the Super Bowl, which is a pretty big deal. And he took shots at Drake during the Super Bowl after winning 5 Grammys. I think he actually has more overall Grammys. I look at the list, I think Jay-Z has the most, and Kanye's crazy ass, and then it's Kendrick Lamar. So by all metrics, he's winning. He is winning. And there's a lyric in one of the songs, A minor, and I think it references Drake and how he is kind of a PDF file, which I have no proof of. I don't know the history there. But everyone in that audience yelled A minor and sung along with him. They rapped along with him at that point. So, yeah, do I think it was a bad show? Here's how I personally feel. There are times and places for things, and the way that show was kind of lined up, part of it was, dissing Drake. Part of it was lined up for that. A lot of the regular mainstream people that go to a Super Bowl or watch Super Bowl on TV, they don't care about that rap beef shit. Like, they don't care about that shit. They just want to be entertained in a mainstream type way. You got like Usher, you got Bruno Mars, you got these typical type of performers that have these mainstream songs. Even if you drop Lil Wayne at the Super Bowl, and he did a lot of his hits, and he has a ton of freaking hits. They're mainstream hits. Miss Officer, Lollipop, stuff like that. That's songs people can sing along to, and they're mainstream songs. Kendrick Lamar is a talented person when it comes to rap. He's a talented person. Now, unless you're just somebody that hates rap music, you can't say that he doesn't have some level of talent. Um, but that particular way, how it was lined up, how it was made up, it's just not key for Super Bowl. And they kind of knew this because Samuel Jackson even had commentary in the background saying, that's not the way you do it. That's not the way you do it. This is not how you do it. Then at the end, he came out and he played his hit songs. So they were self-aware that it wasn't a typical halftime show. That being said, the choreography was very impressive. They didn't miss a beat. The dancers did not miss a beat. The choreography was on point. I like the set. They actually had the set with X and square triangle. It was set up kind of like a PlayStation controller, which was really kind of interesting. And the very beginning where they had a GX, I forget what kind of car it is, but they had the car where he was on the top of, and you had all the performers, the dancers coming out of the car, which was kind of cool. That was like a cool visual right there. If you like Kendrick Lamar, if you're a big fan of his, I think you love the show. But when it comes to a Super Bowl performance, and why there's so many people giving this an F or like a 1 out of 10 or whatever, is there's a mainstream audience that is the Super Bowl. And there's a time and a place for performances. Like, that's the kind of performance that might be good for like BET or the Grammys or something like that. But when you have a Super Bowl performance, you almost got to try, if you want to win people over, is to have the most top 40 type songs ever. And he could have had it be different. For instance, maybe I think I'm hearing the word ghetto a whole lot. Maybe if it was less ghetto, perhaps. If he would have just played, if it would have been shorter performance, I don't know how many hit songs he has, but if he played DNA, if he played Humble, and maybe he played, of course, the one song, which he made references to why he might not play it because he might be sued. I think Drake is trying to do something to where he was trying to put pressure and threaten a lawsuit. Somehow he played that song or something. I'm not sure the history there, which is kind of a weak ass fucking move. But if you're Drake, you don't want him performing that song that's a diss to you, partly, at the freaking Super Bowl. Which is, what's the name of it? There's Humble, DNA, and then I forget it. But it's, how can you forget it? Because they played that song. If you listen to any rap station, they played that song constantly. And it's not even that good of a song. Well, okay, let me rephrase this. He has better songs. I don't think that's personally one of his better songs, because there's parts of the rap that's really annoying where he keeps saying the same thing over and over and over again, and it's redundant. Like, I love DNA. I love that song. That's even, they used that on old NBA 2K games as background music. Humble's good. And maybe there's probably other songs that he has that I would like. But let's be honest here. He is not the typical type of performer that is usually going to be at the Super Bowl. And it was not, like I said, the correct place and time for that type of performance.